Uh, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. And Shalom to all the brothers doing the work, certain truth. Just gonna cover once again. You've got protests about this bill. They're pushing through, which it gives the police a broad amount of powers. But it's like the main thing is kind of locking down on protests and then being able to do more. It's more or less just giving a lot more powers into the hands of the police in the UK. And it's because if this lockdown ends, then it's kind of a thing that will be happen. People will be able to do. But it's like even during, like people have been going a bit nuts. Well, with the protests, they've been doing it quite regularly, semi-regularly anyhow. So it's definitely a theme, and it's kind of all over Europe. It's not just in London, because even this one. Okay, let me read it a bit. So it's on RT. It says, "Kill the bill. Londoners march against proposed law that would give police more powers to crack down on public protest." I'll play the clip. I don't think there's any sound. But yeah, you can see hella people, like fuck ass hella people out. But yeah, it's kind of in London. That's like something that happens on a regular still. But it's they kind of be using I think the biggest thing that's kind of got people focused on it is that vigil for what's her face, Sarah Everard, where they went in and they they were grabbing up the women. People were kind of losing. Oh my god, she's a woman. How can you do that? But these guys don't understand the time we're in, and further down the line where it's leading to. Because in reality, it's gonna get on top for women. It's gonna get on top for men. It says what the men shall be as women. So then what are the women gonna be like? Women are gonna be toast, man. Because it's gonna be a degree of rawness where it's like this present realm, all this the illusion of how things are run basically under Esau. These things are gonna be dissolved, and then it's gonna be a lot of people basically out in the elements, out in nature, dealing with life, with the realities of life. It's rather than you being able to, stomp around and go to work, get on the underground, go buy a coffee and whatever. All that mess is gonna be out of the window. It's gonna, go down to, the rawness and the raw realities of life. Which that's the thing is the elites are aware. These guys know what level they're looking to bring things to. That's why you've got boundless amounts of like post-apocalyptic movies and TV shows where they kind of show how it gets messy, and usually they'll kind of have like a central focus, like Children of Men. They had what was it in London? It was still kind of running like it was normal, but then outside of London was a bit more out there. In the sticks, people were kind of able to more get up to what they wanted to do. But then it was the not immigration camps. It would have been I can't even remember what they're called, but like where they go towards the end of the film, where she gives birth to the child, and it's basically where they just ship out all the non the basically the guys that weren't British were taken, the ones that weren't killed were just sent out there, and then they just lived. That shit was like a slum, and that was fucked. They had to do the fucking most to just to survive. So, okay, let me read a bit more. So, as many in UK defied the rules and rallied against controversial legislation that would allow authorities to place additional restrictions on public protests there. London police had urged people not to attend the demonstrations. The protests were held in 25 cities across England and Wales, including London. People marched from the capital's Hyde Park with placards saying "Protect our rights" and "Kill the bill," referring to the controversial proposed legislation known as the Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill. London Met Police urged the public not to attend large gatherings that violate C-19 regulations and are punishable by fines. Similar rallies last month led to clashes with the police and to arrests. So yeah, it's and it says there as well, like, the Met handling of the vigil, Sarah Everard, was appropriate. So yeah, it's kind of like it's stoking the emotions of the people, but these things are uh, within the range of what the plan, as far as the elites are concerned. It's within range of their plans, for people to be upset, but they're looking to push forth further things, man, and to worsen it. That's the thing, is even with police getting more powers, it's going to get to the point where it's going to be military enforcement. And that's kind of how it gets down. When it gets to a crisis point, it goes to the military, it goes to a higher level than just the cops. The cops are just like minor enforcers, man, for the mob that is that's the elites. These guys are the minor, on the lower level enforcers. But then what? It's when you get to a military level. That's when it's got to a dire situation. And that's the thing, is these, as far as it goes with the elites, these are the things they're looking to bring in. I can read this. Psalm 64:1. Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Yeah, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. The insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Because that's it. It's these elite banking families. These guys are basically what? These guys are the workers of iniquity. They're looking to bring in sinister plans that, is going to go into, mainly aimed at Jake. Their own people, the majority of the heathen, are just collateral damage. They know that, as far as prophecy is concerned, it's especially with Esau as well, for him to maintain be in a position of power, Jake can't be allowed to rise up. Because why? Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So he's basically trying to eliminate Jake as a factor, so that he can, maintain his position of rulership, which is basically, he's trying to go against prophecy, trying to go against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But what that how's that going to work out for you, mate? The only reason you're in a position of power is because of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in the first place. So this is what who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. Even better words, yeah. Wet their tongue, man, like a sword. It's Esau's words, Esau's plans that he's maneuvering, these orders he's getting carried out. These things are doing damage, man, and you can see after this whole lockdown situation, people have gone kaput, man. These guys are the public, general public, is malleable as hell. The people, you got a few people, because it's like even these protests, you got a few people kind of chafing against it. Most people are just oppressively saying just like, do as you're told, wear a mask, all these things. Because why? They're thinking, they're living in such abject fear of this thing that's going around, that they're just like, they're gonna follow any instruction until they can be told like, okay, it's safe. But then that terror that's being utilized against them, it's only going to be spread more. That's why it's like even in like the States, it's like they're saying, oh, even people that have got the vaccine, they still have to continue operating like they haven't. Like I think they said they're not allowed to go on holiday. Maybe they reversed that one. I can't remember. They might have reversed the holiday one, but they were saying originally like, oh, don't go on holiday, don't you still need to wear a mask. You know you still can't go around people. I was just like, huh? What the fuck was even the point then? And then there was a few stories where they said like people got the max, and then they got the vaccine, and then even they got the vaccine, and then even afterwards they still got sick again. With this thing that's going around. I was just like, this, all these things are there, and it's easily observable. But why? It's people aren't using their brains. They're not thinking. They're basically just following instructions because they're hoping at the end of the line they can go out. The clubs are going to be open. They're going to be able to go out and have a good time. They're going to be able to go on holiday. They're like, oh, we're going to reset and blah. They don't realize it's already been set. That new normal has been adjusted to, man. It's been like over a year of this, this present style of how things are running, being out here, and people are accepting. People are just eating it. People are kind of like, oh wow, now it's just how it is. Or like, oh, maybe this is just how it's gonna be going forward. These are the what you call it, man. The plans, man, that they're getting put together, man. Them bitter words. It says what Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High, they've searched out iniquities. They've accomplished a diligent search. Esau's done his research. He's got all kinds of studies being done. It's like the thing is this is the funny part. Is like people are kind of like, oh, all these rules that are being enforced, like the general populace by and large is saying like, oh, it's a good thing, it needs to be done. They're basically wanting it to continue, but then there's a few research studies that are being done on it that are basically revealing the extent to which people have been fucked up and just destroyed by having to sit in a house for a year on end, basically not really talking to anyone or doing anything. So it's like but the thing is Esau would already know that these things he's already looked into. He's got researchers, he's got think tanks, he's got all kinds of organizations that he's back and call. They can use it to basically get these information and formulate it into his plans. That's why it's like, because when this thing came round, it was looking it was looking like it wasn't even a thing. But now they got it where it's become a legendary boogeyman. So what? Now anything can get pushed off it, man. That's why it's even this bill. Go back to that. Because this bill is like the only like all this shit getting pushed through. It's basically got to the point where anything can get pushed through. Because even in the States, it's like they say like, oh well, take the one that the Biden did most recent. I think it was 1.7 or 1.9 trillion, $1.9 trillion, and it's given like what is meant to be the a relief, the C-19 relief bill or whatever, to kind of get Americans back on their feet. but what in reality it's like what 1.7 trillion, but then everyone in America's getting what 1.4k. That's where the fuck is the rest of that money going? But then all that other money is going into the real things they're getting done. The real actions being taken. And that's what people don't really think about. They're just thinking, oh, I just got, stimulus checks. Start memeing about stimulus checks. Like what they're doing with it, how they're buying Jordans or whatever, etc. But they don't realize like they're being walked into a slaughterhouse. Especially Jake. Because Jake should done already know, man. How did they get to America? So this is what let's see if this is a different one. Okay, it's a different one. Oh, it's actually got sound. Kind of funny. Okay. So it says the bill, which passed its second reading in the House of Commons on March 16th, gives police additional powers to restrict and control all public protests. And the thing is, as well, is even for like brothers teaching, that's would be classified by them as public protests. Or even says what? Reinforcing punishment for public disturbance. So yeah, these things can be utilized against brothers as well, which is who they're really looking to go. It says what? Shooting secret of the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot him. So that's what Esau's looking to do. It says what? The government argues that the legislation is aimed at curtailing actions which cause unjustifiable disruption or distress to others. Yeah, similar to like was it Section 4A of the Public Order Act, distress and alarm. If you say or do something that causes someone distress or alarm, which is just the vaguest shit ever, then they can, arrest you off that. So it's similar to where they're basically just gonna be able to be like, nah, shut it off. Just based off them saying, okay, well, someone's distressed or alarmed, someone's feeling disrupted. And being disrupted, it's basically just like an open ticket for them to do whatever the fuck they want, to justify to classify whatever action you're doing as okay, that's disruption. Because that's how Esau, that's how he uses them bitter words, man. Putting them legislation together. To what? To fuck over Jake. Says the bill was introduced on the heels of the Extinction Rebellion and BLM protests that also involve rioting and property damage. Yeah, it's kind of that's and that happened late spring last year, early summer, where shit was getting smashed up. So the opponents of the bill believe it will allow a crackdown on freedom of assembly. Labour Party MP David Lammy described the bill as draconian and argued it will incentivize authorities to move against any protest they don't like. Yeah, which it is. It is draconian. It is gonna move against any protest they don't like. That's really that's the thing. Esau, when these bills are put through, it's the Patriot Act is just the perfect example. No one repealed that, man. Beasley, the superhuman, what's it? Nobel Peace Prize winning, Greasy. Why didn't he repeal it when he came in? Because why? These men are all on the same agenda, man. All these presidents, whoever comes in, whoever comes out, these guys are all following their instructions. They're doing as told, and they're putting through the legislation. Because why? That's why it's all of a sudden everything's hinging towards the mark of the beast, man. Why? Because that's been the plans all along. These things is that's been the objectives of the elites, the ones who hold power. That's why you're seeing it. It's a lot of these guys that are protesting, they actually thinking they're gonna have some form of impact on the system, but they don't realize, it's all being run. It's really being run by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and it's for what his elect, the 144,000 and 1/3, to basically be saved out of America, man, and the latter parts of the earth as well, and for America to get judged, man, the earth to get judged, and the kingdom of heaven to get set up. That's what the end goal is. That's where it's all gonna lead to. So, read this, Daniel 8:25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Yeah, by peace shall destroy many. And that's what, when Esau puts through his legislation, it's always, it's for your best interest, it's helping you out, it's securing your safety. And then down the line, it also comes out, what? It's all about the agenda, man. That's always what's getting pushed forward. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, Yabashim and Shabashim, Shalom.